All right, guys, welcome back to this channel. Welcome back to the My Journey to America channel. And today we did UK the last time, and now we're in Canada. Everybody has a story. And today I have my good friend here, Christina. We go way back, Chris, right? From grade five,
From grade one.
from grade one.
Yes, it was the same. I'm 6 year old age, so same batch coming straight up.
Wow, who'd have thought
Yeah.
40 years later we'll be sitting on a
Hmm.
podcast together, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Chris. So where exactly in Jamaica you grew up?
So I grew up in Mendes Point Hill, St. Catherine, a
It was
very humble country area. Yeah.
yeah, and I know Angenique.
Yes, that's my brother.
How
So
is
I
he?
have two other brother. He's doing very good.
Hold on, you have two other siblings?
So it's three of us in all. So it's myself, Angelique, and the last one, TJ.
You know what? You're right. I know I've heard about TJ, but I've never met
Yeah,
him.
you never met him. No, he's the youngest.
Where is he now?
Both of them are in the States. I'm the
Oh,
only one in Canada.
wow, wow. We don't mind having
Yeah.
you over here, by the way.
I didn't hear you.
We don't mind having you here over in the US, by the way.
Well, if fate has it, then that's where I'll be.
Okay, Chris. So
Mhm.
what was it like then? I know certainly for me, humble beginnings, what was it like coming up in Mendes?
So Mendes is really a very quiet community, but very well knitted. Everybody knows everybody, of course. My upbringing was more around my family. So we did have certain restrictions. It's church, school, it's home. So it wasn't that you're able to freely venture out. And then because I grew up in a big family, home was comfortable. There was really no need to be, on the road of such, if you want to say it. So it was very humble.
Mhm.
Majority of my time was in church with my grandmother. I go every Sunday with my grandmother. That's a type of lifestyle that I had. As you know, my father was in the army. So yeah, I'm an army baby. So So it was structured. I had a structured lifestyle growing up. In the Mendes community, persons were still very supportive. Uh, we had, as you know, we used to walk to school from Mendes. So
Mhm.
when you say humble beginning, it wasn't public transportation going to and from school. It wasn't carrying lunch to school. It was walking miles to and from school, sometimes even the rain. You know that still.
Oh yeah.
So that's basically where we're coming from. But then remember, we didn't even have cell phones. So I had my best friend at that time, as you know, and we used to have our mechanism of timing ourselves. So we used to try to go to school together. So she would have to pass my home to go to school. So if I am exiting my lane, because we call it lane, it's like an avenue, then or street, if you want to put it in context so persons understand it. She would leave a leaf under a stone. And if it is not quail, I know that she just left. So more than likely, I start walking a little faster. More than likely, you would catch her, right? If
Mhm.
there's none, that means she hasn't left. And
Mhm.
then I would do the same thing. So when she comes, she would know that, okay, she just left. So that was our little mechanism, our cute little way of doing those stuff.
You were a genius at a very young age because you're saying that you this has to be synchronized, right? So
Yes,
when you saw the leaves, you know that she left.
yes,
But if the leaf is not there, you'll wait on her.
that is correct.
Oh my
And I
God.
wait a little while. So if I'm, because your time in school as well, right?
Yeah.
So if it's getting a little bit too late, I would leave my leaf under a stone. That was our little way of.
Why was it so important to walk with your friend? The
Uh,
conversations?
I would say
Certain.
conversation. I didn't have a sister, so it was like having a sister then, if you want to put it that way. And as I said, we were very well knitted and we took to each other and just formed a bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just formed a bond.
What did you wanted to do when you grew up? We had some weird stuff. Certainly, I wanted to be Thundercat in that cartoon. What was your out of the world
What's other world?
that you
Uh,
wanted to be? Some people wanted to be like Celine Dion. What did you want to
to
be?
be honest with you, I never had an out of character person that I wanted to be. I wanted to be a doctor from ever since. Didn't happen, but
You
I'm
wanted
still
to be
within
a
the
doctor?
service industry. Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor.
Wow. Doctor to finance. We're going to come to that. We're going to come to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so who were some of your teachers? Talk to me about your grade one teacher. Because
So
Miss
grade one,
Allen,
we had
Miss
Miss
Allen,
Johnson.
so you
No,
were
we
in
had Miss
1A.
Johnson. Yes.
So you were brighter than me. You went to 1A. I went to 1B. So Miss Allen, Miss
Yeah.
Johnson was your teacher.
Yes, Miss Johnson was my teacher.
And then for grade two,
I had um
Miss James.
Miss James, and then it was Miss Hamilton for grade three,
That 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 that,
Miss
that
Harding
Miss
for
Hamilton
grade
was
four,
mine. Yeah, Miss
right?
Hamilton
And
was
and I
mine.
and I spoke to her recently too. She's doing pretty well.
You spoke with
Um,
Miss Hamilton?
yes. I
I
think I
need
I met her, was it in Jamaica? And we talked for a few. She's doing well.
I'm gonna see
I would
her.
have to check if I can find her contacts, but yeah.
That's one of my favorite teacher, Miss
Hmm.
Hamilton, because she meant so much to me. And if I'm not certain, I came first in her class. I'm almost certain I
Hmm.
came first in Miss Hamilton class.
Okay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
She taught me this song from grade 3A. My
Hmm.
Bonnie went over the ocean. My Bonnie went over the sea.
See.
My Bonnie went over the ocean. So bring
Hmm.
back my Bonnie to me.
Funny to me.
That's Miss Hamilton in grade 3A.
Hmm. Yeah.
35 years, and I still remember.
Yes, a lot of things they taught us. Some things didn't make sense until you got older, but
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
And then we had Miss Harding in grade four.
yeah.
So remember we had some young teachers that came on.
She was one of them, Miss Harding.
He was one of them, Miss Harding, right? And then in grade five, um
Miss Henry.
I had Miss Henry, and Miss Henry is a twin. You
Miss
remember
Henry
that,
is a
right?
twin?
Identical twin.
To who? We
And there
don't.
are other other sisters, sorry, teachers too at Watermount Primary. So when we had our CXC,
Yeah.
I thought I saw her, went
Oh
to
my
her to
God.
tell her that we were ready, and then she was like looking at me like she didn't know me. So I'm like, Miss Henry, and she said, No, I think you're mixing me up with my sister. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
I I did not knew that Miss Henry was a twin.
Yeah, she's a twin,
I did
identical.
not knew that. Wow.
And
I,
she found me even when I started working at dairy industry because I was working at a manufacturing in Kingston that does yogurt and cheese.
mm-hmm.
And I had assisted with getting them a tour for the kids.
Oh,
That
wow.
was maybe 6 years ago, so not too long.
So from grade 5A, you went to 6A1 with Miss Angus.
Yes, so I didn't pass CXC on the first
Yeah,
attempt.
yeah,
It
me
was,
too.
I think
Me
it
too.
was three attempts
Uh,
you had, depending on your age.
yeah.
And I didn't pass the first attempt. So that's how I repeated. And then a few of us were selected to go into Miss Angus's class.
Yes. 6A
Phenomenon teacher. Yeah.
with the Miss Angus with the sugar.
Yes.
Oh my
But you
God.
learned. You
You
learned.
learn. I remember Miss Angus was teaching long division, and I was so scared. I knew how to do it, but she had a thing where she never want she's the first person that taught me 0 times 0 is 0. I probably
Mm-hmm.
heard it before, but when she said anything times 0 is 0, so she was teaching
Mm-hmm.
the long division. So she's saying you don't have to put the 0 here and fill up the page. I
Yeah.
remember somebody, I'll tell you off camera, fill up the thing with 0, and she whipped her. She whipped her. I'm telling you, that person is doing well now. But I
Mhm.
remember that. So Miss Angus had we shake it, but
But she instilled a lot of discipline. She had the highest
like,
pass rate
she was
in
the
point
boss.
in school, and
She was the boss.
her technique in terms of teaching, yeah. Because
Yeah,
with Miss Angus, what she always said to us, it's time-based. So she always insisted that we knew our timetable up to 20 times by heart.
I
So
remember.
I don't remember if you remember when our names were called, she would randomly select one of the
Mhm.
times table for you to say.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
So when you're going to exam, you're like, what, and you're done.
Christina,
Yeah.
there was a study that was done
Mm-hmm.
about education in the Caribbean and Jamaica. And
Mm-hmm.
it shows a pass mark of 30% in math, English, and the sciences. And why I brought it up, because I remember Miss Angus' words to this student that I'm preparing you for high school. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
want you to operate as an high school person. I remember
Mm-hmm.
saying those words, and you mentioned the word, oh, she instilled. You think that is missing why we have that huge drop in passes in math and English and the sciences?
I think we have a huge drop because there has been a shift in education in terms of how it is taught, in
Mhm.
terms of even aspiration.
Mhm.
While the CXC had selected persons to go to higher education, and then those that were not seen as intellectual or wanted to pursue
Mhm.
um what's the word? The word is missing me. Sometimes it comes and goes.
Mhm.
Those that were not they were not so au fait in terms of maths and English, but they were more leaning towards trade, they would put
Trade,
them at
more practical, yeah, yeah.
VDTI or right. So because of the shift now where everybody is being sent to high school, everybody is going through the same motion, and then they're trying to ensure that no kid feel like some
Left
is
out.
brighter than the other. But the reality is when you do pass school and you get into the work world, you have your appraisal. Some are going to be better than others. Their life is going to come at you, right? So I
And
think
yeah,
because of how they have structured it now, everybody going to high school, there is no drive. You get
mhm.
what I mean? I
Yeah.
remember when I used to pass the high school and I'm like, oh, I want to go to that one. And you want to go to that one. No, they don't care. And then because the education system has been, in terms of the structure has changed, I find that, and I've heard teachers complain that the students, when they come to them, some of them, they don't know the basics. So they still have to pull them from grade 7, put them in special classes to teach them how to read, to teach them how to count, to teach them their times table and all of those things that they should know. So
Mhm.
I do think that our old system had prepared us in a way where the students that were already advanced could get the push that they need, and the students that weren't there could get the pull that they need. But when you
Mhm.
have all of them in one, some is still left behind.
Mhm.
Those that are ahead are kept behind. You understand
Mhm.
what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that is why it is where it is right now. And
Mhm.
then we're lacking persons in trade. It's kind of very hard right now to find a skilled person.
True.
Very, very hard because nobody really wants to go there. And if they really go there, it's a handful. So
I
a lot
think
has
I
changed.
think promotion and education around trade is lacking because you got to know that the banker, Christina,
Mm-hmm.
must call a plumber. No matter how brilliant she are in finance, she
Yep.
must call the plumber. It's winter now, right? And we live overseas. I better
Mm-hmm.
call the guy to look at the gas. I just have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So trade is not promoted. But also, one other thing though, I think passion is lacking because I just think that Miss Angus, Miss Enriquez, Miss White, Miss, I just think they were born to teach and they didn't
They
want to
were.
do anything else. And I know quite a few persons that graduated through from Teachers College, Micro, and all of that. None of them are teachers now.
That's true.
None of them,
Yeah,
none of them are teachers now. You know what I mean? So passion it can contribute because if you don't really love something, you're really going to just collect your salary and call it a day at the end of the day. But let me
that is
ask you
true.
though, back then, soldiers, even now, still the most prestigious, most respectable organization you have in Jamaica.
Yeah.
What was it like when kids found out that your dad was a soldier?
Uh, for persons who knew him, they respected him,
But
loved
of
him.
course, but of course.
People who don't know him, I don't know if they fear the fact that my father was a soldier, so
They're not going to
they
look at
wouldn't
you.
dare try anything, right?
Yeah, 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 because soldier was a big thing. I remember soldier was a big thing. Big thing.
That's true.
What was your what's your biggest takeaway from Point Taylor? Least all age.
My biggest takeaway from Point to Least all
What is that
age.
one thing you remember that still stood out until this very day?
Um, it's more than one thing, so I'm trying to narrow it down.
All right.
We were happy.
Mhm,
That's it, we were genuinely happy. And the reason why I say that as a kid is because right now, if you look across the country, even in Canada, over US, even back home, we are now trying to build play areas. There are so many phones, there's so much distraction. But if you really think about it, when we were at school and that lunch bell rang, there were so many games in the schoolyard. Don't ask me how the kids don't bump up in each other, but there was so many games playing in that schoolyard with how many classes everyone was out and everyone was happy, you know, until they went back to class.
mhm, mhm.
Really think about it.
Sweat up.
Every corner of the school, there was a
Yeah.
game being played.
Yeah,
And
stuff.
it wasn't about, yes, it wasn't about having those little things that you jump on where you see them make this thing for the kids now,
Yeah.
or they come and say, let us play this game or teach them how to play. We had our game. We know how to have fun with each other. We
Yeah.
know how to act in terms of a group. We know how to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, being social is sometimes can be very hard, even
Mm-hmm.
being here in Canada, you're around a lot of people, but you can feel lonely at times, even as an adult. But I'm saying when I look back, we
Mm-hmm.
were happy. We were happy kids.
And that
That's
made a
my
difference.
takeaway from it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that made a big difference. Now, a lot of counseling. Certainly at my son's school, there's a entire department just for counseling. We had
Mhm.
one guidance counselor in high school,
Yes.
just one
One.
person. No, that's
Mhm.
an entire department here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
and when you think of it, they have games, they have video games, they have everything that they want. But yet still, the counseling and the mental issue is skyrocketed.
It is. Yes, because of the changes. They've been exposed to so many things. When you really think about it, we were not exposed to a lot of things back then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We
nothing.
were not exposed. It was very limited.
And it was
We didn't
normal.
have access to phone. Yes.
Yeah, because everybody had the same thing. It was normal. You know what I mean? It
Just a
was
very few persons had access to certain things. Maybe at that time, what Nintendo was just coming out, I would think something
someone
like that.
brought it from America.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's skip now. So You went to St. Catherine High School.
Yes, passed for the high school, the biggest high school operating on one shift in the Caribbean. They made sure you remember that.
Say that again.
It's the biggest high school that's operating on a single shift in the whole Caribbean.
Congratulations. And our Prime Minister went to St. Catherine
Yes,
High
that's true.
School. What was St. Catherine High School like?
It was a very good experience. I'm gonna try to see if I can sum it up. St. Catherine High School was very big, but it was very structured.
Yeah.
As you know, we are Roman Catholic, so we had devotions in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we had two campuses. We had senior and we had junior. The seniors weren't allowed on the junior campus and the junior weren't allowed on the senior campus, but we had to walk through it to get to
Mm-hmm.
junior school. The teachers were loving. They cared about their job. I was a very active, athletic person in school. I played basketball, I played netball. So you find that everyone kind of found their place. I did art.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a lot of persons thought that I would have gone to Edna Manley School of Art, not
Mm-hmm.
University of Technology. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they thought I would have been an artist. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that wasn't what I
Yeah.
wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yes,
What aspects of art?
visual art. So I
Visual art,
paint.
paint.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay. Wow. Talk to us about basketball, and netball. You fell in love with this at St. Catherine High School?
So I fell in love with basketball at St. Catherine High School. It was a way to channel the extra energy that you had.
Yeah.
Um, it was it was very busy. We got a lot of sponsorship and support at times, but it
Mm-hmm.
also helped us to connect with other high school, connect with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the connection for me in terms of networking started way back then.
Oh.
And then when I left, when I started working, I actually went into business house netball. But
Mm.
before that, I was doing
That was for Scotia Bank?
yes, but before that, I was doing the club basketball. So that same basketball that I did for St. Catherine High School transitioned me to a club.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Braves Club basketball, and we had a woman
Mm.
team. So we would have gone all over the island playing basketball. It was really nice. It's a really nice.
You love the
Um,
game, Chris?
I love the game. I love the people. But one thing my friend is going to tell you, my friends will tell you, I usually never know who I'm playing. I just go there for the sports. I go there for the fun. I go there to release, the extra energy. It didn't really matter to me. I went there to have fun, right? Yes.
Do you still watch the game?
Sometimes I just started watching it back again. The transition from Jamaica to Canada, I had a lot of catching up to do in terms of
Yeah.
networking and getting to know their system. So some things were put aside because they don't have that type of facility here. It's more like hockey and
Hockey is the number
um,
one thing.
yeah, their number one sport here, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's my favorite sport, basketball.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I prefer watch that anytime over cricket.
I watch it religiously, basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you played netball too. What did you play for Jamaica? Did you play netball for Jamaica?
So I did play basketball for Jamaica.
For Jamaica,
Um,
okay.
right. We went to Ghana. I don't remember how much we came, but we didn't come up. We didn't place much at that
You
time.
went to
But
Ghana.
I went and yeah, Ghana.
Oh,
Guyana, sorry.
Guyana.
Guyana.
Yeah.
Guyana, yeah.
What was
And I
that
played for
experience?
Jamaica. It was different, but it was good. We got to see another country. That was my first time traveling too. So yeah,
Wow. What position you used to play?
center.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
It's really good. I did not knew that. I knew you played but I thought it was netball.
We play both, but it's in different time span.
Yeah, so
But I
you
play
played
both.
both for Jamaica.
No,
Or
I played
basketball?
the basketball for
Okay,
Jamaica
because
at a point in time.
I remember when you were representing Jamaica, but I thought it was
Mm.
netball. Okay, good.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So, okay, that's good, man. So you have some thick skin, because basketball is not easy. Netball is, but basketball is not easy. Okay,
Yeah, it's a
so,
contact sport. Yeah.
so you mentioned you wanted to be a doctor.
Hmm.
When did that came about? In high school?
No, I had that passion and
From
love
your
from ever since.
when you were young?
And
What
the
happened?
yeah,
What happened why you wanted to be a doctor? Who you saw, what movie you watch,
no movie at all. It was I was the youngest grandchild at the time, and I grew up in a home where I had my mom and her other siblings and my grandmother. So it's like I was I always like taking care of people. So my grandmother felt ill or anyone felt ill. I just like that, and I
yeah,
found the passion in that.
yeah.
Animals just the same. So I'm like, this is something that I like doing. I like the practical part of it. I like helping other persons. So
Mhm.
it was always a passion for me, but it's not that I lost the passion, but the opportunity didn't wasn't fruitful because of um in high school, what they were doing was segregating the classes based on, how should I put it? So we had nine classes of each grade. So I was in 9-9, right? Which
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
ninth grade, ninth batch of that ninth grade. So
yeah,
for example, they would have 9-1 to 9-3 or 4, I think, was doing sciences. And
yeah.
then the end part they gave business, and in the middle they gave mix. So because I was at the end, I was not offered that as a part of my choice for courses that I wanted to study, and they weren't allowing me to switch classes.
Mm,
So I tried taking chemistry on my own because they
mm.
did have after school classes. I had signed up for chemistry on my own, physics on my own. I did them, but in terms of you had to send up what it's called again, your practical.
Mhm,
And Mr. Headley was the one that was teaching chemistry at the time, but
mhm.
then he went off on vacation, so we had no teacher for chemistry, so I had to just stick with business because I didn't have enough sciences in order to pursue that. And then
I
uh
understand.
right, and then in terms of university, um I had
Oh,
gone through
hold
student
on.
loan.
We soon come to university.
Oh,
Who were some of the girls that you went to high school with?
who were
Like,
some of the girls?
yeah, who you matriculate with from passing common entrance, like the Goffs. Who were some of you?
Yes, but we weren't in the same class. I think Nicola Carrie Squire went to St. Catherine High
Yeah, I
School.
know Carrie Squire.
Um,
She's in Florida. She's
yeah, I'm
she's
trying to remember who else went to St. Catherine High School. It was just a few of us, I think.
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, but yes.
He was
But I
ahead of
think what happened because I no, was he ahead? I think maybe he was ahead because I think
you.
their batch was no, I think it was the same batch.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
But I know it was the same school, but because we weren't in the same class, I don't remember exactly. It would have been good if we had a yearbook for our primary school, trust me.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so and you left high school class of
Mhm.
2002 or
That's
two.
correct.
Okay, 2000.
2002, I went to lower six, but I didn't go upper six. I just applied for UTech and just transitioned.
Okay. All right. So that is when you went and did business.
That's correct.
The business.
Marketing, business administration, majored in marketing, minored in banking and finance.
Wow, big deal. You were
Yes.
talking about student loan.
Yes. So back then,
Well, let me ask you a question though, because here's the thing I tell people.
mhm,
I never heard the term student loan before.
Really?
No, I'm not talking no, but back then, I think I heard,
Mm-hmm.
I started to hear it when I'm about to leave, because we graduated together, when I'm about to leave
Mm-hmm.
high school. And then Christina,
Oh.
it sounds so far-fetched to me, like student loan. There was no explanation around it that this is
Mm-hmm.
what student use to go to
Mm-hmm.
college. You
Mm-hmm.
know, how did
Yeah.
you came about student loan? How were you made aware of student loan? Were you doing your research from or did you have someone
Yes.
college in
Mm,
your family?
at that time, I think two persons from my family went to college. My uncle Vincent Harvey and James Harvey, which is my other uncle by my mom's side. They went to college, but I had researched it on my own. I was a very outgoing child because I did basketball. Remember, I was telling you about in terms of networking and
Oh,
connections at that time. So because I was in those clubs, I
and the
had
circle.
access to persons that were of certain level and
I see.
they tried to push and motivate us. So yeah.
Oh, so that's where you came into knowing about college. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you went
Knowing
to
about a lot of different aspects, yes.
of student. Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, because this program is called My Journey to America, did you have anyone or knew anyone that was traveling back and forth and when you saw them, you're like, man, I would love to go to foreign. Well, I knew you had experience because you went to Guyana early for crying out
Well,
loud.
that's just Guyana, but to be honest with you, I was never someone that was in love with the States or those type of traveling. I really do love Jamaica.
Yes. Oh
I
my God.
really loved the clubs and the activities that I was doing. Gave me a lot of access and brought me around the island. So when I played netball,
Mhm.
so I really do love Scotia, I have to say this, but
Yeah,
I
we
know
get
I'm
into
going to
Scotia.
be, I'm not going to be in trouble for this because I now work with another bank. But anyways,
Yeah.
working back then for Scotia, I loved it, right?
Let me
We were
say
able to
something
play
as you
for
talk.
them.
Let me say something as you
Mm-hmm.
talk about Scotia Bank. I remember I walked into Scotia Bank in
Yes.
halfway three, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt so proud. You took care of me.
Yes.
I was just doing a withdrawal, and you took care of me. I felt so proud. You had the braids in at the
Oh,
time. I felt that's my classmate. So congratulations, you did that.
thanks. Yeah, I did that. I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with them was a pleasure. At that time, I think we were under Bill Clark regime.
Oh yeah.
He's no longer, yeah. So he ensured that the staff had a lot of benefits at that time. So when we played for the bank, part of it we did tickets and sold a lot of tickets, do a lot of things, but the bank also would contribute to us. And then we were one of the top players. So whenever we win the league or those stuff, they used
Mhm.
to either go overseas to play in Miami, or the boys who play football for the bank, they would go to the different hotel, whichever hotel you want to go in Jamaica, right? So of course, every year we're going to different hotels. So as I said, I was not fanatic about traveling, so I went to most of the hotels
In
in
Jamaica.
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 Yes. So apart from playing, most of the hotels in Jamaica, we just go there.
Yes. Okay.
So the experience was really good.
Okay, but all right. So that's it. You had Scotia. So
Hmm.
when were there ever a thought where, all right, I probably need to look overseas? How it came about?
So how it came about was, so I was working in Scotia Bank, as I said before, in the branch.
Yeah, because a
And
Canadian bank.
yes, it is a Canadian bank and with a subsidiary in Jamaica.
Hmm.
And I wanted to be all-rounded. So I was customer facing when you saw me at the bank. So I
Mhm.
went to the contact center. It was
Mm.
a promotion, but it was dealing with persons over the phone. So I wanted to get the articulation, the different experience from a different end. So I would be more rounded in the bank. So if I wanted to move up, I would have more experience. That's how we were trying to do it. However, the contact center was sold to another company, and I had transitioned out of Scotia Bank because there wasn't any available space in the branches. And that is when I transitioned from banking into manufacturing.
Explain that.
So, so I became the customer service specialist at dairy industry. It was a very nice place to work.
Oh, so
I
you
had a
okay? Sorry, so you
mhm.
left Scotia and you
I
went in.
left banking, yes,
I
into
did not.
manufacturing.
Okay, that's why I said explain that because I thought it was another
Mhm.
facet of banking. But go ahead.
No, totally different manufacturing. It was a whole different ball game. The
Yeah,
first
managing
question I
them
was asked in the interview was, um, do you see yourself transitioning out of stockings to, dressing down? And in the bank we used to dress very nicely,
yeah, yeah.
stocking, everything is well done. And I was like, yeah, I can do this because I'm a very flexible person, a
Mhm.
little rough playing basketball and all of that. So I'm, I transition easily.
Yes.
So while working there, the person who had succeeded the department, the desk for, that person was in Canada already. She had left Janine, she had left for Canada already. And there was some change in the dynamics at Grace Kennedy. And so it was a decision because the opportunity was international and she introduced it to us
Mhm.
for me to try Canada. And I was like, well, let's try Canada.
Okay, okay.
Because the economy was getting very tough. I remember I was trying to get promoted at Grace Kennedy, but the organizational chart at their industry is very short. So I was in the marketing department, there was a marketing manager and then general manager. So the organizational chart structure was very short, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so when I even started looking out, it took me 1 year to get one interview. 1 year. And that's sending out many applications to show you how the economy was changing.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to try the study program in Canada that would have transitioned you to permanent resident.
Gotcha. I want to ask you a question. I want you to put on your financial hat. Um, um, the former minister of finance,
hmm hmm
deputy director of the IMF right now.
Yes, I'm so
I
proud of him.
listen, I feel proud as a Jamaican.
Yes.
Party doesn't matter to me. He is a
No.
Jamaican. And
hmm
I heard his story on the Cut with Wayne Marshall podcast.
Okay.
And the guy is so qualified
hmm
in mathematics and finance. His PhD is in math. But I want
hmm
to ask you a question. Why is it that, because obviously he must have gotten the job based on his work, his record,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Why is it that in Jamaica, why is it that regular working people cannot feel the effects of this good work that the finance minister did? Why is it that we can't feel it in our pockets? Why is it is what? Because give an example. When I was there, when I was leaving, the dollar was 116. It's
hmm
almost 160 now.
Yes.
And as I said, I have no doubt that Nigel was doing a great job. But at the same time, things were getting tougher and tougher. Because
Yes.
what prompted me to say that? You said the economy was getting worse.
hmm
And you're a banker, finance. So and I want you to explain it to me like you're talking to a 5-year-old child, so I can understand why is it if the economy is doing so well, and I don't know how it could do well if you're not producing, but if the economy is doing so well and the finance minister did a great job, and I'm not being sarcastic, I really mean the word great, why is it then that prices are so high and things are so hard for the working people?
Um, well, there's a lot of factors to that, and we have to acknowledge that he does have a structure working with, right? So
Yeah.
even though he is good at his job, at what he does, there's still a structure that he's working with, and there's still certain economic factors that is at play, and it's not just in Jamaica, it's international as well. And part of what you have explained is that one, we don't produce a lot. Our imports are way more than our exports. I don't, but I haven't checked it recently, but I know it is way more than what we export. And because of that, even internationally with the inflation that is going on, there are effects that are trickling down to countries like Jamaica as well, because as you know, if US catch a cold, we are going to have a flu down there.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things at play, demand and supply, like the cost of the items, um, those would also the inflation, the cost of the items. So inflation is when trickles down to even the small man, right? And what is happening as well is that jobs are very scarce. And
Mm.
if you notice in Jamaica, even though they had implemented, well, they advertised that they have improved on jobs. They were not really jobs. They were like short-term contracts, if you want to put it that way, like a lot of call centers and stuff like that. And these are businesses that is cheap labor. If you just put it bluntly, it's cheap labor. So
Yeah,
they're
because
not going to be at the top
mhm.
of the scale in terms of funds that they're getting to take home in their pockets.
And then the money, the revenue goes out of the country, doesn't stay
That
in the
is correct. Majority. Yes, majority.
because these
Hmm.
people are foreigners.
Right, right.
Mm. You think the dollar will continue to slide?
I think it will, unless we change certain aspects of our economy and the way we do business, produce more, it is going to be hard for us to compete on a world level to be able to bring the dollar to where we want it to be. I think they're doing a good job in terms of trying to stabilize it when in comparison to what is going on in the market. Um, but there needs to be certain economical shift in order to, I don't think it's going to go down. I think the best that they can maybe do is try to keep it at a certain level so it
Mhm.
doesn't escalate out of proportion.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to go back to what it was 10, 20 years ago.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Let us take a shift now. So you're in Canada now. What was it like doing that transition? You landed in Canada when?
I landed in Canada. I think we came here July. I think it was July 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 3 months before school started in September. And I remembered when I first landed and the immigration officer asked me why I was coming so early. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, school starts September. I said, yes, but I need to, one, ensure that the school is where it says it is. Like, because there's so much scamming going on. You want to ensure
Yeah.
that the place that you paid your money to, the place is open, right? Or the place that you registered, there's actually a place there before I transfer my money, because I'm very particular with how I do things. And I had rented an apartment from Jamaica already. So I wanted to know that, just check it, ensure that what I saw online is what I'm getting.
Mm.
And I would be able to make some changes before. But I
Mm.
think the immigration officer was more concerned with if you're going to start working because they don't want you to start work. There are certain restrictions as a immigrant based on your documentation, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
So it was very beautiful at that time. That would have been summer. I went to
Where you
New
landed in
Brunswick,
Toronto, New
New
Brunswick.
Bru New Brunswick, St. John, New Brunswick. So it's two plane from Jamaica, Toronto, then from Toronto to St. John, New Brunswick.
Oh wow. How far is
Didn't
that?
have any family there, no friends, just me.
Wow. We're going to get that sorted out. So you're in New Brunswick. What was the temperature like?
It was summer. The temperature
It
was
was summer.
So it was similar to what we had. I wouldn't say it was similar. It would be like late December kind of feeling in Jamaica. I can't tell you in terms of numbers how much it was, but it was like a cool summer. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't extremely hot like the Caribbean.
Okay, so from banking, manufacturing, student, talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me. How was that in a brand new country?
I was optimistic. I'm a very optimistic person. I
Yeah.
know there are downfalls, but I don't focus on those. I try to focus on the positive and keep my goal in front of me. And that's how I get to power through without having a lot of hiccups. To be honest with you, God has been good to me in terms of the journey. And I've been successful in basically all of the ventures that I've tried to do here.
Wow.
So yeah,
All right.
it was a change. Um, I love the fact that I wasn't working for a while.
Yeah.
I must say, everybody, when you're working, you want a break. The transition to school, it was good. And I want to say, even though we talked about the education system in Jamaica, it really prepares you for what is happening in the world, or even going back to school. Because when I went to New Brunswick, the college in New Brunswick, um, what I learned back then, that was what they're just learning. Like I've been over all of this. So, it was kind of easy for me. Yeah. So they really
And
did
you
well in terms of how they teach us in Jamaica.
and you went back into you did finance.
I did finance, yes. I just went into the same field, trying to get the accreditation or license to sell mutual funds. So I do investments here, banking and investments here.
Okay, so you have a license where you sell mutual funds.
Hmm.
My God, that's why it's good to have friends like Christina. Okay? And don't ask me for her number either. But that's good to know. We can definitely talk one day. All right. So you made mention of the school in terms of how they taught you here in Jamaica, prepared you for that journey. Talk to me about the ethnicity, because when I came here, well, I used to visit here before, but certainly when I live here and I would meet people, I have friends, I have a lot of friends from Africa. Um,
Hmm.
one of my friends is from Macedonia, so we talk all
Hmm.
the time. I have friends that have been to River Jordan. They are from Jordan. They talk to me about the river that Jesus got baptized in and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And these are people where I talk to all the time. What was it like for you meeting the different ethnicities in and around Canada? And what were some of the conversation, if any?
It's a really eye opener because in Jamaica, we do have contact with international people, but it's not an everyday occurrence, of
No.
course, right? In Jamaica, you're more to see your fellow ethnicity than other ethnicity. But being here, the diversity is very wide.
Mhm.
I have met persons from all of the country that you can think of. Um, Africa, Brazil, India, you name it. Um, I have met them. And in terms of like the conversation, everybody loves Jamaica.
Oh. You know
One
what,
of the
Christina?
conversation is
Yeah, go
every
ahead.
Black person that they see and they say Caribbean, they said, "Are you from Jamaica?" And most of the persons, I would say, they're either from Haiti or the other Barbados, Trinidad, those other places. But I don't think they particularly like the fact that they're always at a wink being described as a Jamaican because they're Black.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, Christina. What I realized being here, when it comes down to other country in the Caribbean, no disrespect, it's not even
With
close.
disrespect, we're
It's not
well
even
known
close. People are fascinated of
by
the fact that you're
Jamaicans.
from Jamaica.
Yeah,
Like
they
like
are.
real fascination that that
Yes.
that we are from Jamaica. Oh my God. All right. What has the journey been like? As I said, one day somebody is going to interview me and they will hear about
hmm
my struggles in America to where we are right now. What was your hard time like, especially because I know you had to work because sometimes money run out now. What was it
hmm
like working, especially in the winter, and then you have to go to school? Because we're going to talk about your first winter too. You don't want to hear about mine, but let me hear your first winter too.
Okay, my first winter. I never knew
Oh my,
that. I never knew that cold, like being extremely cold, could feel like um literally like you're hurting, like somebody chop you with something. I remember my toes being so cold that it started hurting, literally hurting. And that was from the cold because New Brunswick was very cold. You're talking like minus 30 something sometimes. And it's funny when it snows, it's not that cold. When it's snowing,
I
it's not that cold.
I found that out since I came here and I researched the science and realized, oh, this makes sense scientifically. Because if it's
Mm-hmm.
too cold, then it's not gonna snow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if it's in the 25, 30, it's going to snow.
Yes. And one of my most scary experience was trying to drive home. I think there was a storm, but the thing is that whenever they say it's a storm, it's not like what we experience in Jamaica. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was very laid back,
Mm.
not moving as quickly as I should. And then I think it's they had plowed the road, and I lived on a hill, so they had a terrain. So they plowed the road, but then a little rain fell, and then it was glass over the road.
I
And
saw.
I was trying to drive up the hill, and in drive, I was sliding back down the hill. And the
Wow.
cars that were coming from the top of the hill, they basically was spinning, hitting each other, coming back down. And I was in a state of shock, not know what to do. So I put my
Wow.
foot on the brakes, put my foot on the brakes, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? And I'm thinking, I'm looking, I'm seeing the vehicles hitting, I'm seeing some of them spinning, coming down the hill. And I just put the car in neutral. Because if I press gas, it slides back down. So I just put the car in neutral and then let it go back down the hill. And it was going back down in an intersection. So I had to turn into another compound. I think it was I don't remember the I think it was Home Depot that was there, or I'm
Yeah.
not sure what was there. But I turned into there. And then the scariest part is they will ticket you for being on the road if you should say leave the car there to
Mhm.
try to get home, maybe walk home, they would ticket you. So there's the plow needs to be able to clean the road. So you
Yeah,
can't
because
have
that's
cars. So you have to find somewhere to go. And I was panicking. I was like, what am I going to do? And I literally had to take a back road that was not plowed. So
mm,
driving in that heavy snow was still another trauma, right?
yeah, yeah.
To get home. But that was my scariest time.
Wow.
And that I'm sure was on Facebook. I saw someone videoed it and put it on Facebook. Yeah, it was scary.
Wow. And you're like, welcome to Canada.
Yes.
This
Welcome
is
to the
my
snow. Welcome
welcome
to Canada.
moment.
Yes.
Talk to us though about working and going to school. How did you balance that?
Um, well, when I came here, I had started to look for employment. That part, to be honest with you, I have to thank God because it was good for me. When I applied, I was offered 5 jobs at once, basically for me to choose which one I wanted. It was very easy getting work. And I was working with Xerox because they would give me ample time to go to school. But then I came in at the time when COVID, because it was 2022, right? I came in at the time of COVID. Was 2019, 2020, no, not 2022, 2019, right? So I came in at the time of COVID. And because I was the last one in, we were the first one out because it was no contact. Remember that time?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Canada was very strict on their protocols as it relates to COVID. And so I had to try to find a non-contact. That was very hard for me at the time. And the non-contact that I got was basically Amazon delivery. So I was doing deliveries for the whole of school. So I would wake up 2:30 in the morning, get the packages and the stuff that I
2:30 in
needed.
the morning, Chris?
30 in the morning. Yes. You had to do what you have to do, Kevin. Yeah, it
Yep.
had to work.
Trust,
Right.
I have a story. You will hear it one day.
Yeah,
2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the morning, every morning, apart from Sundays, I think I got one day off. You'd collect the packages and the other things that they gave you and started your delivery. And then I would finish by 7:30 thereabouts so that I could be at school at 8. So that was what my days were like.
So you
Yeah.
start 2:30 and you would finish at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So
Because I
you
had
have,
to do other packages and stuff like that. So I was doing a lot of communities, going into places I've never even seen before. Some of the places that I've even had to go in, it was so dark. I'm like, mm-mm, I'm Jamaican. I am not going down there until sunlight comes out because I'm a woman, right?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest with you, New Brunswick it's a safe place,
Wow, that's good.
and it is coming from Jamaica, and as I said, I love Jamaica, but it is what it is. We know that there's so much crime there. It's an eye opener that a lot of person can live in the same space and the crime is little to nothing.
Yeah,
Like little to nothing, no crime, so many people. And they do
yeah,
what they have to do, you know.
yeah. Wow. Did you ever question your movement in those? Because let me say something to you. Just apart. I remember when I woke up one morning to go to work, right? It
Mm-hmm,
was it was -7 degrees.
mm-hmm,
And I remember when we were there working, right? We work on a dock, the dock, home,
mm-hmm,
forklifts, everything. That's where I started. And
mm-hmm.
I remember in that -7 degrees, I was like, wow, did I make the right choice? And
Yeah.
Chris, I remember when it turned to like 11 a.m., like 10 o'clock in the morning, I
Mm-hmm.
remember when 10 degrees felt warm. I was like, thank you. 10 degrees felt warm. So I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yes.
Have to do what you have to do. And yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing, because people might see and think that, but the story is not what you think it is. We earn it.
Yes.
We
Yes.
earn it. So that must give you a gratified feeling knowing that you finished school. Talk to us about that.
School was good.
You had a degree from Jamaica or you had a master's?
Degree.
Degree, okay.
Mm-hmm. School was good. The transition from school into the workforce was good as well because I had prior experience and I was going back into the banking. Scotia Bank, I had gone back to Scotia Bank after school. It was easy to transition because I had experience with them before and they um would basically favor you in terms of uh accepting you as an employee in another country.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually started working with them after school, which was good.
What was the difference in the bank here as in the bank in Canada? Well,
The
certainly, you did
difference,
with the crowd. So let's get that out of the way.
yeah, the crowd, the customer base and the crowd was totally different. Um, the banks in Canada, well, first of all, the access to certain services were different from Jamaica, where you can take a picture of a check and it goes to your account. You
I
know,
love it. I love it.
can use your email or your telephone number and send funds to somebody. The ease of service. But the
Amazing.
dynamics of the organization itself was different. Like I found that in Jamaica, they would say that we were living luxury.
Mm,
Jamaica had a training school. We could go to a training school. They train you before you enter the face of their clients. In Canada, that's not how it is. You're working and training at the same time. So it was
oh,
a little bit different, but having gotten the discipline from
Jamaica.
prior work experience,
Yeah.
it was a little easy to transition.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So what's your title now? What is it that Chris do? What is it my friend does in the bank?
Basically, I'm a financial advisor. Different banks have different titles based on the province that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but basically, I'm a financial advisor doing the same thing, mortgages, um, investments, day to day, you
Mm-hmm.
name it. Yeah.
So I come to you with 100,000 Canadian. Say, Chris, I want this to invest until I'm 60, say in another 20 plus years. What does
Mhm.
Chris, what do you say to me? What do you do?
So basically, what I would do is find out your goals. And I just say your goal is retirement, right? And we
Mhm.
have different products that we offer for retirement. You said it's 150. So we have different tiers where I currently work at CIBC, where we would put the clients based on the tier of investment that they have. So with your amount, you would see me.
Okay, okay, all right. So I will
You
see.
would see me.
Yeah.
Right. So we do it in Canada, it's a little bit different where we do have what is called a retirement savings
Mhm,
plan. It's called an RSP.
mhm,
And what it does, it's a deferred tax savings account.
mhm.
So you do taxes in the US as well, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
whatever you put in your RSP, you do get back a credit when you're doing your annual taxes. So it actually benefits you to save for retirement in your RSP. And the
Got you.
reason why I say that is because you have different types of investment products here that we can utilize,
Mm-hmm.
like a tax-free saving products, but each of them do have their contribution room or their limits because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to over contribute in them. They do have penalties for that as well. And then you do have other types of like a non-registered account that can be also used. So we have different vehicles to get you there,
Mm-hmm.
but we have tax, non-taxable, and so forth. So we do a combination of it when we do our meetings with our clients to ensure that they are maximizing being tax efficient, but also putting you in portfolios that are diversified to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that the returns are what you want it to be. And we do have software in the banks that we utilize to structure it and show you what potentially you could make.
Mm-hmm.
We do have also what we call like a big picture chart where we monitor the finances in terms of different type of diverse portfolios. So it shows over time that you do make money over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you continue with your contribution, you need to maximize your contribution. But along that way, we do have like COVID where things dip. We do have like
Yeah.
the banking, right? So if you're going
Because
to
the
invest
market
short term,
fluctuates.
right. So we do go through all of that with the clients, and then we don't just leave it there, similar to what we may have done in the Caribbean, where you're just contributing to your retirement, but no one sits with you to say, this is where you're at. This is what is happening in your portfolio. You might get a statement, but you don't know what it is. But as a financial advisor, we try to meet with you at least once every 2 to 3 years. That is in between any other type of services that we're doing for you, just to ensure that you understand where your portfolio is, make any adjustments so that in your retirement year, we can say, okay, then If you retire at 60, based on what you're able to save,
Mm-hmm.
this will able to last you for 5 years, getting this amount back each year based on your goal. You understand what I mean? So
Oh,
if your
yeah.
salary right now is say 150 and okay, in retirement, um, certain expenses may drop off. Your mortgage may
Yes.
drop off depending
Yeah.
on when you start. So you may
Definitely.
not require, right? So how much would you like your annual income to be when you start, you know, when you're in your retirement age? And then we can tell you based on what you're saving or your goal, this is what you can afford, this is how long it will last you. So
Mm-hmm.
basically that's what I do in terms of the investment part.
Wow, that's really good. That's really deep. Why should someone come to Canada or America?
Okay, I know I may get bashed for this, so
Yeah.
I can tell you why you should not fear trying. I'm not going to tell you why you should come because that's a personal decision, right?
Fair
What
enough.
may work for me may not work for you because
Yeah.
it also depends on your ability to adapt, one, your personality. And when I say personality, if you're a fearful person, you may have it harder than someone who is driven,
Mm-hmm.
if you
Mm-hmm.
get what I mean. Because
True.
persons who are driven, they will have a bridle on, if that's what it's called, and they focus on the goal. It's not that things aren't happening around them, but they don't focus on the things that are happening, or they keep focused and they will hit the target. So that's why I said it's a personal decision. Some persons are okay where they are, depending, and it doesn't matter if they're making it or not. It doesn't matter what's happening around them. They're fearful of the unknown. So it's a personal decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say um, why you should consider these other countries is because for one, the experience. You only live once. And if you do have the opportunity to go and see the world, why not?
Mm-hmm.
That's one. You
Yeah.
don't have to stay. It doesn't mean that you're migrating or you're going to live the rest of your life. But if opportunities are there, why not?
True.
If you mentioned that 165 Jamaican dollar give you one US,
159. Yeah.
159.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine when you work in the US and you save enough and you go back home, what you're able to put together there, the lifestyle like you can have to live.
Yeah.
So you can go back home and make something of yourself, but it's basically what you're able to attain while you're on that journey. It's just an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
really. I do like the services here, I must say. I'll give you two.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, if a woman is pregnant and she's working, she gets 3 months maternal leave.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, you get 1 year
With pay.
with pay. Now the pay scale might go down. I think like if you're and you can take extra as well. You can take extra in terms of the time off. And the male also get time off as well.
That's
In the
a big
US,
deal.
I think it's 6. I don't want to quote, but I think in 6 maybe you
See,
can
it's
check, or
different.
3. It's still different, right? And that's one. In Canada, you have something called long-term disability, short-term disability. You don't have that in Jamaica. So sometimes people go through traumatic experiences,
Have it
whether
here too.
someone died for them or something happened to them, and you have to work, but they may not be mentally stable to work or in a
Yeah.
mental capacity to work.
Yeah.
In Canada, you're able to get that time off with pay.
Yeah.
And we have to give kudos where kudos is.
True.
Um, you do have little benefits as well that persons get from the government monthly or quarterly, and that is separate and apart, and that's everybody. And that was even when I was uh, on study permits as well, like carbon tax return. But you do get something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I find, and I'm going to try to explain this, and it's just because I'm in the financial industry,
Yeah.
that saving for retirement is something that is forefront of everybody's or most person's mind in Canada than it
Mm-hmm.
is in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
If you think back when you were a soldier in Jamaica and you were saving for retirement, um, you know you're saving for retirement, but you don't know if in retirement how it's going to last you or if you're going to last. You maybe not even sure how much you're getting.
Yeah,
You maybe not even sure if it's being invested,
yeah.
but in Canada it is different. And so you find that the living afterwards is better because most persons in Jamaica, not most, because the working class in Jamaica is a small group. The majority of persons there are self-employed. The self-employed, even though we have financial institution that may offer retirement planning and those type of stuff, they don't really gravitate towards it. So
Mhm.
what happens after retirement in Jamaica? It's either NIS
Mhm.
or what's the other one called again? NIS pension, or
I don't remember the next one. I know
there's another one, but it's not much.
it's not
So
much.
it's kind of hard for them to live,
Yeah,
So there are lots of benefits. There are other benefits that's there. It opens up a wide world to you out there.
true, true. I agree. And then they experience the travel and meet other people. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Wow.
Networking again. Networking again. Hmm.
It's very crucial.
Yes.
It is because I went to a business conference the other day, met some guys and stuff. One of them, I communicate with him frequently, and
Hmm.
he's offering me a space in their investment, real estate, property. I just need to come up with the money. But the fact that I know the person that
Hmm.
is at the helm of the organization is a
Hmm.
great thing. It's a great thing when you network, as what you said, because your
Hmm.
network is your net worth.
Yes. I do believe, Kevin, as well, the people that you surround yourself with, whether you want to believe it or not, does have an influence on how you perceive
100%.
life and your perspective.
100%.
And if you want to aspire to something, you have to surround yourself with people that have been there, that have experienced it, that have gone through it,
That's my
in
number
order
one.
to be able to to move in that direction. It is very important.
Yeah, and that's my number one focus. One of my mentors early on,
Hmm.
Jim Rohn, I heard him said, your income is the average of your five closest friends. When I first heard
Yes.
that, when I first heard that years ago, I'm like, what is he talking about? Tell you about
Hmm.
over 10 years ago. It is true. It is true.
Hmm.
It is true because the surrounding, and he said when he's speaking, you ask yourself this question:
Hmm.
who am I around? What are they doing to me? And if
Hmm.
that is okay.
Yeah.
And he said, if it's not okay, change it. You're not a tree. You can change.
Hmm.
You can change.
Yeah.
Christina, I'll give you the last word because this has been really good. Certainly, I can check this off on my goal list. I got one of the big person I wanted.
Well, my last, I guess what I want to do is encourage others to strive for what you believe in.
Mhm,
Um, Keep your boundaries, right? And your values.
mhm,
And the reason why I'm saying this is because to strive in an environment wherever you are and to be that person who you need to be, you'd have
mhm,
to believe in yourself. And for you to survive, sometimes you have to set boundaries, right? And when I talk about values, those things that you are learned from your young, carry it with you. It really goes a long way. It helps to protect you, helps to propel you forward. And don't be afraid to try, because if you don't try, you'll never be able to know if you will succeed.
mhm.
And another thing, to those persons who may have tried and think that they have failed, don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as an experience. Look at what you're able to go, what you were able to go through. And should that opportunity arise again, you would have had the experience to do it differently.
Mhm.
So I want to encourage people to continue to strive, continue to try, and just be yourself and be the best version of yourself, because you can't succeed unless you're the best version of yourself.
Oh my God, you're preaching. You're preaching. To sum it up, my mentor Jim Rohn said, when the record book is finished on your life, let it
Yes.
show your wins, Let it show
Mm-hmm.
your losses, but please never don't let it show that you never try. You gotta try.
Yes. You have to try.
Well,
Yep.
thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
100%. All right.
Thanks.
All
All
right,
right.
guys, there you have it. The one and only Christina. You can follow her on Christina Journey, right?
Yes. Yes, that's my page.
100%. Bye-bye, my friend. God
All
bless.
right. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.